everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be the controversial parenting tag. So if you want to know how I do things and want to hear me get controversial, which is rare, then keep watching. So I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway because this is YouTube and sometimes you have to say things anyway. I'm a big supporter of the way that people parent. As long as you are not an abusive prick, then I'm pretty much a fan, to be honest. You do what works for you and that is the end of it. But this is called the controversial parenting tag, so therefore I guess it's going to be controversial. And we get right into it, and it's just a series of sort of like, not even questions, but kind of like a for or against type thing, a versus type thing. So let's start with number one. So the first one is pro-life versus pro-choice, and this is obviously with regards to women and their choice to abort a baby or not. And this is quite a tough one. I think it's probably the toughest one on there, but I was actually raised Roman Catholic, so in that sense I suppose if we go off religion I should be pro-life, but I'm actually not. And I suppose one thing I need to say is that when I was 23 years old, I found out I was pregnant and I wasn't planning for a baby. I didn't particularly want a baby, and that baby is actually Bill. And I wasn't really in a position where I felt like I was ready. I wasn't really in the position where I thought we would cope or manage. And I knew from the second that, you know, I saw that line on the pregnancy test that I was going to keep my baby. And to be completely honest with you, I actually even went to the doctors and asked for advice. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what my options were, and I asked. And I went in on my own, and the doctor could tell, I think, and she reached over and put her hand on mine and she was like, you just need to know that whatever decision you make, it will be okay. And I don't know who that doctor was, and I will never get to thank her, but I just realised that, you know, I wanted this baby. I wasn't gonna give them up. I wanted to give him or her a chance, and it turned out to be the best thing I ever did. But with that said, not every single woman is in that position where, you know, at the time I was in a loving relationship. I might not be with Bill's dad anymore, obviously I'm with Mark, but at the time I had love and I had support, and that was all I really needed. Whereas a lot of women, you know, they may be victims of rape, they may be in situations beyond their control, and I think that it has to be up to the woman. This is not just about her life, but it's her body, it's about her emotions, about her situation. Like, there's a series of events and sometimes you never know what they are going to lead to. So I am pro-choice. Next up is baby wearing, and I think this is relatively tame. I have baby worn. In fact, I will insert a picture of me here wearing Daisy, and that was like back in, well, it was near Halloween, and I love it. I did find it quite hard with Daisy because when she was first born she had loads of tubes and I actually couldn't baby wear her, and I was really excited to do it, but as she got bigger and she didn't need her tubes anymore, I jumped at the choice. I think it's great if you're going on like trips out or walks in the countryside and it's not really buggy friendly, and I think it's really handy and I love it, and I've got nothing against it whatsoever. You should definitely give it a go. Next one is circumcision. Now, I actually have family members who are Jewish, and I am not gonna slag off circumcision at all because I think there are lots of things that are done that have religious meaning and religious value, and I think that it is up to every single parent to make those choices for their children. Me personally, I would not be snipping any foreskin off anytime soon. I actually found it really funny because when I was on the way to Disney World on the plane, it's the first time I've ever been on a plane where they have like movies, like long haul, and one of the movies I was watching was Bad Moms, and you'll have to like let me know in the comments below if you remember this bit as well, but they were like talking about what a non-circumcised willy looks like, and like being all shuddery and gross, and like how you use the willy and what you do to the willy, and I was laughing my head off because I was like, I literally don't know any different. Like, it's not a big thing here. I believe like in the US it might be quite popular for like health reasons and like cleanliness, but I think that's been proven otherwise now. But basically, for the most part, most of us over here don't chop any willy skin off, and I'm certainly against female circumcision because that is harmful. Moving on. Adoption. I am massively pro adoption. If I were unable to conceive in any way, then I would adopt. Not to say that I wouldn't adopt in general, but if we are blessed with our biological children, then we would like to have them. And I just think it's an incredible thing. I love the fact that a mother is in the position to love that child and want to give them a better life perhaps, and I love the fact that there are people out there who have the biggest and kindest hearts and give a child so much love and a brilliant life. And there is a lady in particular that I'm thinking of on here, which is Jules Furness. She's amazing, and I'm going to leave her linked down below because she has a little boy and she's his mum, and she's amazing, and she inspires me, and she reminds me that everybody's journey to parenthood, motherhood, fatherhood is different, but she reminds me to, you know, hold on to what I've got and be grateful as much as I can as well, and she's a brilliant lady. I also will link down below to a YouTuber called Micah Storfer, I think that's how you say her name. They are actually going through the adoption process at the moment for a little boy, and she lives over in America as well, so I'll link her down below because I'm really enjoying following their journey at the moment too. Next one, baby piercing, and I'm not even going to beat around the bush. I don't like it personally. I wouldn't do it, only because, and I suppose it's a bit more like circumcision, I don't know if piercing in some instances might be a religious thing as well. I can't be quoted on that because I only talk about what I know for the most part, but if it's a cosmetic thing, then like I'm not for it, because I personally didn't get my ears pierced until I was 17 years old because it was something I wanted to do. And not that I think it's like body mutilation in any way, but it just seems painful, and I don't really see the point of it. Like, I've got pierced ears and I don't even have earrings in half the time, and I think it's up to kids to do with their bodies what they want to do with them when they're of an age to make that choice for themselves. Next one, breast milk versus formula. I couldn't give a flying, I was going to say the bad word, but I'm going to say flying duck. I couldn't give a duck about that, because I breastfed Bill for 18 months. I expressed milk for Daisy for 3 months, and then she went on to formula. I have tube fed babies, I have bottle fed babies, I have breastfed babies, and you know what, if I had a preference and I could have a choice with every child that I had, I would breastfeed because I really enjoy it, and I was lucky enough to be able to do it, and I do find it easier, to be honest, because I hate sterilising bottles. But we don't always have that choice, and we do have one big choice out of everything, and that is to feed our babies and help them thrive. It doesn't matter how you do it, and I'm bored of the debates over it, and I'm bored of the judgment over it, because it doesn't matter. Ooh, can you feel the passion? Next question. Next one is spanking, or smacking I guess is what we call it here in the UK. I personally don't smack. It's never been something that I have felt like I needed to do or wanted to do. I operate on a basis with my kids where like we talk things out a lot, and I feel like that has a certain effect on them. Like they know to listen, and they know to explain their feelings to me as well, which is Bill is getting really good at doing at the moment, and I've just never felt the need to smack my child. I can understand in some circumstances that like a tap on the leg or like whatever is something that's done in the moment, and I don't think that parents should feel guilty for that, but I don't smack, and I never will. I just, you know, like I feel like I personally can't teach my kids not to hit each other and fight, and then, you know, I do it back to them. I don't know, that's just the way I feel about it. It's just not for me. Not for me. Next one, co-sleeping. With Bill, I purposefully did not co-sleep because I couldn't co-sleep. It was too much. I was just terrified of squashing him in my sleep, and I was much bigger back then, so I probably would have squashed him. I'd still squash Daisy now, to be honest. I'm not exactly small, but I didn't like the idea of it. I felt that, like, you know, my bed was my bed and his bed was his bed. I don't know if it's having a second child and just the desperation for sleep is stronger with every child that you have, but with Daisy, she has co-slept with us. Part of that being that, you know, she's had massive surgery and she needed comfort, so I was going to be there. I didn't really care about what that meant for me. I wanted to comfort her. Part of it is just because it's easier sometimes, and part of it is because I'm probably a little bit more relaxed now. We don't co-sleep as a general rule. She sleeps in her cot every night, but I'm just saying on some bad nights she comes in, she has a cuddle, and I snip her baby hair and enjoy her little koala cling to my arm, and I embrace it for what it is, because one day she's probably going to slam the door in my face and tell me to bugger off because she's a teenager, so I'll take what I can get while I can get it. The next one is home versus public versus private versus charter schooling. I was public schooled, my children are public schooled. I think that we are very lucky to live in a country where education is, you know, it exists in the way that it does, and it's moderated in the way that it is. I don't think it's perfect by any means. I'm not really sure on how I feel about testing children from such a young age, but it is free and it is brilliant. I find that I met some brilliant people by going into, like, the public school environment, and quite frankly my parents couldn't afford to put me through private school, and it didn't do me any harm. I've made some amazing friends. I've done really well at school. I was a straight A student and I got an excellent scholarship and went to university and studied journalism, and I'm here and now. I don't think that it really makes a difference. I think that a lot of how the child does is not only based on them as an individual and the skills that they have. I don't think that being good at school means you are a clever person. I think being good at school is one element of intelligence. People have different talents and different ways of expressing themselves, but I think the main thing about your child succeeding is the support that you give them at home and the way that you bring them up. So you know, whatever you want to do school wise is fine by me. I am not going to judge you whatsoever. Vaccinations is the next one, and I am pro vaccinations because I think that there is a wider impact. If you choose not to vaccinate your child, you're not necessarily just not vaccinating your child. You could essentially pass something on to somebody else's child, and I think that vaccinations for the most part are there and they are developed for a reason. You know, things like, you know, these days we're able to cure, well, we have cured meningitis in the sense that, you know, it can be treated if it's caught early. It can be prevented as well if you have those vaccinations, and I just think that it's worth it. And it's important, and that's just how I feel on the matter. Also, I can tell you very bluntly, as a person who has had a very poorly child and spent a lot of time in hospital, I would do anything on my power to prevent that from happening in other ways as well. I think it's really important to protect our children, and I do feel quite strongly on that actually. Next one is medicating children, and I'm not really sure what this like actually pertains to. I don't know if it's just like Calpol, because we're big fans of Calpol in this house, or if it's for other things, like say medication for things like I don't know, autism or ADHD, things like that. I am personally a big fan of seeking help for individuals whatever their age. So we give Calpol when Daisy's teething. We've given it for like temperatures, that sort of thing, and we use it because it helps our children. We don't use it excessively. We do hold out and see how they do in dealing with pain themselves, but yeah, we use it. I don't really think there's anything else to say on that one. So the next one is cloth versus disposable diapers or nappies. Now, if you know what, like, I honestly wish that I could do disposable. I think that in the grand scheme of things it would be well, it is, but much better for the environment. So there are a few reasons for why we are like Disposable. We use Little Angels from Asda, I absolutely love them, and we do that, A, because when Daisy was in NICU we couldn't use cloth anyway, and B, just because I guess that's what I know. Cloth diapering, nappying is something that I don't really know enough about. I didn't really like the idea of putting pooey stuff in my washing machine, I won't lie. It just, no, I don't like the idea of that, I'll be honest. But I understand that it is better for the environment, and maybe with our third, if I have enough time to sort of think about it and save up enough money for that initial outlay and expenditure, then maybe I will do. But yeah, I'm sorry, I use Disposables, please don't judge me. And then the very, very final question is the cry it out method in terms of getting baby to go to sleep. Now, this is quite a hard one because we don't let Daisy cry it out in the sense that I would leave her screaming in her cot for as long as it took for her to go to sleep. But we have done with what we did with Bill as well. When Bill turned a year, I started doing what was known like, or what I called sleep training, whereby I would go in on occasion and just settle him down. And the main reason was is that he got to a year old, he was still not sleeping through, and it had very much become that sense of habit rather than need. Because he was weaned, he ate loads, he like breastfed on demand anyway, and it was a comfort thing because a lot of the time I'd pick him up, I'd stick him on the breast, and then within like a minute he'd fall asleep. So it wasn't even that he wanted milk, he just wanted someone to settle him again. So I did, and it was killing me. It was absolutely destroying me, the lack of sleep I had with him. He was by far a worse sleeper. So with Daisy, we've taken tips from that, and we have like used those techniques. I would never ever let her cry to the point where she's distressed, and like I said, if she does get really upset in the night, she does come in and have a cuddle, but she's a great sleeper. And I think that's just because we taught our kids to like enjoy their bedrooms and enjoy their nap times and stuff. We've always been quite like, you know, this is nap time now and you need this, and like, look how nice your bedroom is, we keep it nice and cozy. We don't have tons of toys in their bedroom, for example, because we want to keep it a place where they sleep rather than like play all the time at the moment. And that is what works for us. I'm not going to judge a parent for what they do in terms of getting their baby to sleep, because I understand the desperation and the drop in mood and the increased anxiety that you get when you haven't had enough sleep. It's a huge factor in your mood as a parent and the way that you cope. And I think sometimes we're taught too much to just get on with things. So in relation to sleep, I personally wouldn't let my baby cry it out. But I do encourage like sleep training. I will like leave her for a minute and go back in and settle her, and leave her for like a couple of minutes and then go back in and settle her. But to be honest, we've never had to leave it that long. Like, she's done it really quickly, and she does settle, and then she has like a full, like, she goes to bed at 7 and then wakes up at about 6:30, so she has almost 12 hours sleep, and she wakes up in a brilliant mood, and it's a good thing. I think she's happy and we're happy. So yeah, that is everything. I've answered all the questions. I hope that, you know, you enjoyed this video and you don't now hate me, because that would be awkward. Although, you know, everybody's different, aren't they? So yeah, if you'd like to see more videos like this where I talk about parenting like techniques and the things that I do and the way I do it, then let me know in the comments below, or give this video a thumbs up. And I am going to tag Katie from Mummy Daddy Me to do this video, because I love Katie's videos anyway, and I love finding out more about her. Even though she's one of my closest friends, I would just love to see her do this. And I also tag Emily from Emily Norris. I'm sure you all know who she is. And I'm going to tag Sarah from This Mama Life, because I just love her. I think she's great. And I'm also going to tag Jess Avey as well. So I really hope that they like don't mind, and that they like to join in as well. And I think it's a good one to just have a really frank discussion. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel, then I would love it if you subscribed, because it really matters to me. I'll be honest, I'm really trying to up my numbers and do a good job on here. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, I would love to see you back again soon. And yeah, have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye.